Ahem. All right. I think now's as good a time as ever to start this shit on up. What do you think, bud?
Yeah, let's get it going. Hello,
Hello.
everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to the Fresh Oil
Hello.
Podcast,
We are back.
the car podcast that happens every 2 weeks, usually.
The only car podcast that talks about this specific stuff with this specific name. You probably could hear a Ricer just drive by right there. It's cool out to the
What was that? Was that a Honda?
I don't know what it was. It probably was a Honda of some sorts. Maybe
Imagine
Acura.
hearing a Ricer drive by your house and not immediately dropping everything to run and look out the window to see if you can catch what it was.
Oh my god. I mean, it's usually I can tell because it'll be like, all right, that's a Subaru, that's a VQ. Like, those are very easy to tell. Uh, but some of the other ones, I mean, you just loud, naturally aspirated four banger, like that can be
Yeah,
like a
and well,
million
yeah,
cars.
sometimes you end up with people with like riced out shit that like is weird, you know? Like, dude, I lived with a dude who had a riced out Geostorm.
That's sick.
No, it's not.
I
Like,
yesterday.
there's no other way to. That car was
Oh, that
gross.
car terrible. Yesterday though, I saw and heard a Hyundai Sonata drive past me that had like a fat blow off valve installed and like a fat exhaust. It was, a 2.0 T. And like granted, like
Oh,
yeah,
dude, I
you
see
could
mad like riced out Kias and stuff, like newer Kias, Kia
yeah.
Optima with like big wings and stuff on them.
Yeah, I guess their relatively new ones are very cheap used now and like you can get them with like turbo engines and shit. So you can totally do stuff. Um It was just weird that it was like, I hear big loud turbo car and it's a Hyundai Sonata. Like they never
Yeah,
made like a
dude. Well, I
sport
mean,
version.
everything's turbo now, dude. So you might as well get used to hearing riced out turbo everything.
I know, I guess that is kind of the way, right?
I do love those seeing like when you see like a late '90s Elantra GT with like the fart cannon on it. I'm into it. I'm into it.
I'm down. I mean, yeah, totally. I like to just see different things, honestly. Like this Sonata like wasn't super riced out, so I wasn't super like, haha, that's so funny, I'm so impressed. It was kind of just like shit, Like it just looked like a Sonata that was loud.
Probably pretty fast.
I don't know. I mean, depends if it was actually tuned or anything. I don't know what those engines can make. I don't know if they're like all that fantastico.
Yeah, but odds are if you drive a 240, it's faster than your car.
Then my
Like honestly,
car.
no, I said if you drive a 240, it's faster than your car.
Oh. I
Although,
got that.
dude, I don't know, maybe, dude, a tuned 2-liter turbo Sonata, I feel like that's probably about as fast as a GTI.
I feel like it should be pretty quick. It should scoot, but I guess the transmission and all that shit's what depends. Anyway, though, beside that shit, I guess we should get into some stories here. Just
Dude,
starting.
you're
Hello,
chomping at the bit.
dude. I mean, I'm just done talking about KDM garbage. I don't know about you.
I was never really that into it, to be honest. So, let's we always start with project updates. And I have no project updates. I have not turned a wrench on a car in at least 2 weeks. So why don't you hit us with some project updates,
All
bro?
right, hold on. I'm trying to get the picture. So this past weekend, I don't know if anyone remembers, but this past weekend I did some racing, as the kids call it, and
Some underground street racing.
sure, underground street racing, and I kind of did this. Is that showing up properly? I should find the website so you guys can actually like properly look at this guy's thing. As you see his watermark or whatever. But yeah, I done exploded the engine. So yeah, it was kind of a crapshoot. Really, it was just like a whole load of issues that culminated in me being the idiot that exploded the engine. I think with
And to be clear, in the weeks since our last podcast, you pretty much did nothing but work on getting that car ready to race, right?
yeah,
I mean, that's obviously like an exaggeration, but you guys like worked your asses off, thrashed it to make it, and
yeah.
then you blew up after like what, 20 laps?
Yeah, something like that. So, really, the whole story is that we did too many changes at once, and we had too many systems that needed to be tested and figured out, and it was just not that Twiggy used water as oil. Yeah, that did kind
Pretty
of happen.
much.
I'll get to that point in the story. I'll explain the whole entire thing and why this even happened. So, yes, I exploded the engine, but I do think it would have happened to any of us just because of the what's the saying? The comedy of errors that happened throughout getting to that point. So basically, for this race, you got some crazy noises going on back there, man. But so basically for this race, we had the new front suspension that we had custom made and designed because, 60s American poo-poo design is terrible, obviously.
Well, that's maybe a bit of an exaggeration, but go on.
It's not good. What was there was not good. I mean, for like 3 races, we ran on bump stops only because we had no fucking clue. Because it's just so it's just so slammed that like the suspension is fucked. The geometry's fucked. It was all fucked. So going custom was the way to go. But
Did you change to like a rack and pinion too, or did you just do like control arms and coilovers?
no, it's had the same rack and pinion that it's had before, which is it's actually like a Saab steering rack. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you guys already had a rack and pinion. I thought you might have still had like stock Mustang steering and shit too.
No. We when we put it together, it never went together with the old style bullshit. That would have just been stupid, and we wouldn't have like had the room to place like the fuel cell and whatever where we have it. We just got a lot more options doing that anyway from the start, and it's better, obviously. But anyway, so obviously. So yeah, we basically at this point the car now has Honda Accord rear suspension in the front and Honda Accord front suspension in the rear. So it's fully independent.
Interesting.
It's fully independent coilover spring. We have custom upper control arms in the rear, custom both in the front. I mean, the whole front, like the control arms and like the caster. It's like a stay bar, kind of. It's weird. You'd have to see it for me to kind of explain the whole thing. But yeah, basically it's like a flip-flopped Accord because I mean the weight distribution's like kind of flipped, so you would kind of want your like spring ratios to be flipped in a similar manner. Not exact, obviously.
Yeah, but I mean, fuck, it's also Lemons Racing. The fact that you have DC coilovers means your car should be crushed already. So
yeah, what are
you gonna do?
Let's just crush this bitch that did 39 laps.
I mean, I'm just saying it feels a little cheaty to have $1,200 coilovers in the $500 racing league. I'm not saying it's not right, but I'm just saying.
They're not that much. Firstly, and secondly, like we could bolt in Accord springs, Accord struts, and cut springs, and send it like that if we really wanted to, but.
True, but that would be far worse than.
Yeah, I mean we're trying.
DC racing coilovers.
We're trying to get some garbage to go fast. Like give us a break in that regard. But anyway, so the front suspension we basically redesigned. The wiring, we finally decided to make a custom lipstick on a turd. Yeah, it basically is lipstick on a turd. But the wiring, we decided to finally make a custom wiring diagram, which included 2 of our guys, like, took an online course on, like, learning that shit. And, yeah, we cut out, you know, a ton of unnecessary bullshit. Have Monty weld you up some drop spindles. Yeah, let me just neck myself right now real quick. Basically what we had before was just the stock wiring everything. You know, we just deleted, like, the transmission shit so that the engine would run, and then the rest of the loom was just, like, flopped into a trash bag that was just, like, sitting on the floor. So we're like, alright, fuck that. Let's, like, you know, actually cut out the bullshit that we don't need and just make a simple wiring diagram where everything is, you know, every delete that needs to be deleted is done and blah, blah, blah. Great. Thing being that we never got to test that until it was already at the track Friday on test day. So, like, we're already behind at that point. You know, you already could see where that was. The car didn't even get there until well after the lunch break. So we didn't even get the test day. Like, the car never ran that entire day. And the reason for that was because we had dumb electrical problems. And it was because we made a custom wiring harness and it was untested and we didn't have enough time to test it and blah, blah, blah. And so we just had so much bullshit, so many issues. Like, got it to start, but it had a weird rev limit. Like, it would only go to 3,000 RPM. We're so fucking confused.
Limp mode.
Yeah, it was like in limp mode or some bullshit. We're like, all right. Finally, like, we checked all the wiring, we checked the continuity. Like, stuff has continuity. Like, you would check the pins across. Like, everything should be right. And we're like, all right, let's just swap, like, the ECUs. Just because we have a spare that has, like, the immobilizer, like, deleted. You basically just, like, break a chip off of it because it's a Honda and they're so fucking easy to, like, steal. They're, like, designed to be easy to steal, I think. You just break a chip off. The immobilizer doesn't care what key it has at all. But, anyway. We swap the ECU and then finally it, like, works. We have no fucking clue why. Like, we think it's fried, but we don't know why we would have fried an ECU. It doesn't make any sense that would have happened. And, so we're like, all right, whatever, fuck it. Finally, like, we get to start racing, and it's like, we started like 20 minutes late or something. It wasn't that bad. Like, in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't that bad. But we had been thrashing and, like, just so confused over, like, what wasn't working, what was fucked up, what we had to fix. So it was, like, both physically, you know, mentally, and, like, just so draining. Finally, we get to that point, and our first driver goes out, and basically only goes out for a very little bit, and then fatigues super fast because it was, like, super hot, super humid. He didn't have drinks in the car. He didn't have a cool suit or anything, which other people had prepared. So, you know, it happens. So he comes in and I'm like, all right, well, I gotta switch in. No one's ready. The next driver's, like, in the fucking bathroom taking a dump or something. So, like, I'm like, all right, I'm here. I'll go throw my suit on because the car is just sitting here, not turning laps. You know, like, that's not how you race. So I suited up real quick, get ready. They get me in the car and I get to go out. And I do, like, 2 laps and then, like, fucking just the throttle's not doing shit. Like, there's no power. That, like, something's fucked up. Like, I tried to, like, clutch into downshift and blip the throttle. It did nothing, but it was still running. I'm like, what the fuck's happening here? And then I saw smoke coming out of the back and everything like that. I had been out, like, 2-3 laps total. We go in, and it turned out that it, like, had just been overheating this entire time. Like the stint before into my stint.
Bro. Why, did you just not look at the temp gauge?
Oh, fuck no. I didn't check it at all. I was out there
Bro, you gotta look at the temp gauge, bro!
All right, let me explain it to you, okay?
You gotta look at the temp gauge.
So the number one thing is that um, this car has always had so much cooling because we converted it to mid-engine. We have this huge long cooling system, whatever. So it should have so much cooling. Like we on the old setup, we never ran the fan ever. Now we have a smaller Civic style radiator and whatever, blah blah blah. But theoretically, it should still have so much cooling capacity into it. And the last driver didn't have issues. I was hectic to get into the car. We were already dealing with other issues. We were already dealing with not sleeping and not paying attention to fucking shit. So by the time I got out and did 2 laps, like I had never even had a second to think because I was trying not to get hit by other cars, just getting out there and like getting up to speed. So it was, yeah, it was stupid, but like everything that caused the whole series of events was stupid. It was all just, lack of preparation, not having enough time to get stuff ready, not having enough time to get stuff sorted, rushing to fix things, blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of how we ended up in this situation. If it wasn't me, if, the other driver stayed in because they didn't over fatigue, they probably would have blown up 2 laps after that,
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I'm not trying to hate. I'm just, talking shit a little bit.
Oh, I mean, I am. At first, we thought it just overheated. It's mid-engine setup. Like you can get coolant bubbles rather easily. They are hard to bleed. We understand that, and we've had issues with it too before, but nothing that super super bad. And so so we let it cool off for a while. We're like, all right, we're gonna add water. Stuff's low. Put water in it. Blah blah blah. And we're just adding water. Like, wow, this thing was like really low or whatever. It needs a lot of water. Like we fucking like refill. Like we put in like 8 gallons or something. Like tons of water into this thing. And then all of a sudden, we're like, oh, it's leaking. It's leaking really bad. Like, oh my god, where's it coming out? We're like all looking under or whatever. It's fucking pouring out of the intake. The fucking intake. The cone.
Oh god.
Like the cone filter. It's kind of like dripping through that. Pouring through that. And so yeah, then like I pull the dipstick because I'm like, what? We're like, what the fuck? Why is there water there? What's happening? I'm like, did the head gasket blow or whatever? Like, what fucking happened? I pull the dipstick, and it's just like, water starts coming out of the fucking dipstick. The engine was full of water from top to bottom. Like, the whole fucking thing.
Jesus, dude.
Because, like, yeah, no, laugh. No, it's hilarious. Like, we haven't done the autopsy yet, but, like, a lot of people were saying, like, oh, why didn't you guys just try and change a head gasket or something? I'm like, well, I don't think water would be pouring out of the intake if it was just, like, a broken head gasket. Like, that's
no, I feel like you
bent,
have no head
cracked,
gasket.
Like, ate the head gasket.
Something's destroyed.
It's just, like, that engine's fucking done. And, like, by the time when we got in and we had like the laser thermometer, like it's an aluminum block. The block was at like 375 Fahrenheit or something. Like it was definitely over 400 at before it exploded. 100% my fault. Yeah, kinda. It's kinda 100% my fault. I'm.
It's one of those racing things, dude. I honestly am a little worried the KA might have a blown head gasket. I think it's just a coolant leak, but I don't know. I might need to head gasket the single.
Yeah, maybe
cam.
you need to do like some kind of, I don't know what kind of tests you would do, like a blowdown test or something baloney.
Yeah, I don't know. But like,
I think you can do a cylinder like pressure test or something, and that would tell
do
you.
Do you know where those dudes on your team took that online class about suspension fabrication?
I don't think they took one on suspension I will ask though. No, they took one for the wiring harness.
Oh, okay. I fucking misheard you or was thinking about it. My bad. I don't know, because I was just like thinking about it And it got me thinking about like the suspension arms that you guys made, and I was like, shit, man. So I've I literally am a professional fabricator,
Like,
and I've
yeah.
successfully modified my rear subframe. But I'm still fucking scared to cut my knuckles, dude. I'm worried I'm gonna fuck it up.
Nah, you could totally do it. Come on, it's fucking fine. I
I
wouldn't
know,
really.
dude. I don't know why. I'm so fucking scared.
I mean, I think you
But
just.
they're just S13 knuckles. They're so easy to find replacements if I do fuck them up.
Yeah, why don't
That's
you
such a
just buy another pair now, and while they're already being shipped, you can cut these ones. Bywall, are you guys planning on having a better gauge setup? So we have like it's an Android tablet that we're using, like whatever OBD2 blah blah blah. So we have a screen, whatever, and yeah, we can see.
honestly, you should slam just one of those like cheapo mechanical temp sensors in there. Those are really like
Yeah,
good thing to have. I think.
I think we should probably put in a few like backup mechanical gauges like that. Maybe like a temp, like a coolant temp,
And an oil pressure.
and an oil pressure. I know that totally is a
And
good
a
suggestion.
big fuck off tack.
A big fuck
Like
off
a
there.
4-inch tachometer. You know
Well,
what
one
I
of the
mean?
ones that goes up to like
With the
12.
with the big ass shift light on it.
Like it goes up to 12, but we have like it set to like 6300, whatever the fuck it stopped.
Exactly.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious. No, it does have, digital tack. You can get speedo and GPS and shit working on it. I don't know if our tablet actually has GPS to do that, but something you can do. And it's supposed to have, like a flashing like warning light, but I guess we didn't have that temperature set. Yeah, it's a hindsight is 2020 thing. And that's what it all was. Like all of our issues was like we didn't focus on finishing one system fully. We like half-assed everything, trying to rush to get it ready on time, and that's why I fucked up. We were originally gonna race Carolina, a true 24-hour race next month, but we're like, well, that's in a month, and also Corona ain't be going so hot down there. We're pretty sure that Lemons is going to cancel it or the track's going to cancel it regardless. But we said no to that, and now we're saying that we're probably just going to say no to New Hampshire, which is in like 2 months, because like we just don't need a time limit to fixing this stuff and making it right and figuring out the problems. Like we had a lot of successes.
It doesn't seem outrageous to me that you could be ready in 2 months, but just be prepared to back out and fail,
Yeah, like we could be ready, but also like, do we want to have another like couple nights of just wrenching until so fucking late and just being miserably exhausted and tired? Like, it's not fun
I mean,
at a
that
certain
shit
point.
is kind of fun sometimes.
It's fun sometimes, but at a certain point, like when you're pushing
I'm gearing up
so
for
hard.
some of those, dude.
But-
I'm about get. I guess cat's out a little out of the bag on this one with my. I have a second S12 in New Mexico, and that shit's still not running. I feel like there's a decent chance that it will not have started before I get to New Mexico. I'm a little fucking paranoid. I'm gonna start that shit and it's gonna be in not great shape.
Nah, you're gonna be fine, man, and you're gonna rage it even if it isn't. So who gives a fuck?
Good point. Like, I guess I can just blow it up probably. If I.
So like out of all of this though, we did have a ton of successes. So like so out of the whole weekend though, the reason that we did end up retiring, we ended up doing a full engine swap overnight to our backup engine. And within, a few laps of the next day, it's like, well, our wiring's still like wonky as shit. And we're pretty sure it's one of the ECU plugs, just however it was put together, just wasn't done right enough. Like the connection is like not perfect. Like I don't know, the pin doesn't sit right, whatever. It needs to all just be gone through. But basically, it randomly would go back into that limp mode where it would only rev like 3,000 RPM. And like that's so dangerous on a racetrack if your car just randomly can't rev more than 3,000 RPM.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's
not
dangerous on the street, let alone on a racetrack with like, 60 other cars whizzing by. So we ended up retiring because of that. The car ran, the car drives, the car stops. It just wouldn't
How's
have
it
been
handle?
safe. I thought it handled better, but we do have design flaws that we have to fix. Like, it does actually have a good amount of bump steer in the suspension geometry that like wasn't accounted for and needs to be fixed and changed. But like that's one of the reasons, like, why should we push to have this ready in 2 months when we can just take our time, make sure it's right, and hit next year hard.
Hit next year ready to take on the Class B win.
Like, I would just, it would be nice to just have a race where it's like, all right, we got to get ready. We got to race next weekend. It's like, all right, change the oil, check the brake pads, let's go. Like, that's it. Like we've never gotten it to that point because we've always been developing the car, but we need to get to a point where our development isn't so massive that we have these problems. This was with an extended off season. We were supposed to race even earlier. So what can you do?
Yeah. I mean, what can you do? It's a race car. It takes years to develop. I mean, is any team fast ever when they make big changes? No.
No, it's a lot to do, definitely. And, like what they say is like projects expand to the time that you have, or more they expand to the time you don't have. Yeah.
Don't you know it?
It's how it goes, though. But yeah, Bywall, hindsight's 2020. Everything's 2020. Us losing was 100. But we didn't come dead last, so that's all I can say. We came 5th to last, which isn't last.
Hey. And you beat the first ever Lancia Scorpion in the 24 Hours of Lemons, which is for sale right now, I believe.
Yeah, that's because they came dead last. That was funny. The first Lancia Scorpion, they turned 2 laps, exploded, and now it's for sale. I already found it on Facebook, so.
If anybody's looking for a good lemon starter car,
yeah, you're in the Northeast. And by a good one, we mean like one you 100% have to drivetrain swap to something not Lancia.
You could totally run the Lancia. You're forgetting like the rule of lemons about reliability, where the least reliable manufacturers are the most reliable.
I don't know. A Lancia,
dude,
though?
Alphas do really good in lemons.
But a Lancia, man?
Dude, I bet
Scorpion? Like, that's not even a desirable Lancia.
I bet, dude, you do a little dialing, and that shit would fucking dominate, bro. Italian cars are perfect for lemons.
Well, agree to disagree. J35, baby. Except one that's less exploded, preferably.
Alright, well, that's like 30 minutes of project car update.
I mean, there was a lot of story to tell. There's a lot of bullshit going on. We didn't crash. We didn't get black flagged. There's positive. Huh? Anyway, we'll move on. We hit that long enough. First actual topic outside of my boring life is Polestar.
Yeah, no one wants to hear about you.
Polestar, which if I guess some people might not really know what Polestar is, but
Polestar was at least the performance division of Volvo, but now they are the EV division of Volvo, correct?
I think it's kind of both, and I think at this point now also is they kind of do a lot of things for Geely, which is like the Chinese parent company of Volvo. If you guys don't know about that, look them up. Geely, Geely, right there. But yeah, I think they are only going to be EVs. but they're gonna be like another step above like a Volvo. Like it's gonna be either more luxurious or more performancey or whatever.
Probably both.
Probably
Let's
both.
be honest.
Exactly. And so they have the new Polestar 2, I think is what it's called. Yeah. And it's going to be about $60,000, and it's supposed to be, you know, a big fight to Tesla's, you know, below the Model S. I guess Model 3. I think Model 3s you can actually get cheaper than that. I don't know what the average.
Yeah, but I think
is.
most Model 3s come expected about that price range.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like, I don't think anyone has like a base Model 3 because there's so many things that it's like, why are you even buying a Tesla if you're not going to get that? Like, why would you get it without like the self-driving and supercharging and shit like that? Like, why would you buy a Tesla then? So, yeah, it's going to be, I would think that this is just going to be sweet. Does this not have any interior pictures? Oh, we got a little bit.
I'm guessing lots of wood and leather.
That was like it. Is there more? Oh, look at that. A $5,000 performance pack adds Olin's. Oh, baby.
Olin. Uh-oh.
Gold Brembos.
Uh-oh.
Black roof and gold seat belts and tire valve caps.
Hold up. Why are they putting Olin's on instead of BC's?
I know. Where's the BC Polestar? I'm gonna buy that.
No, dude. Honestly, that's pretty sick. I mean, that's an expensive car when you start doing all of that to get gold. I mean, gold seat belts are hard as fuck. That's fucking sick.
I mean, this is an attractive car. It's a very attractive car.
Bro, the waistline is really high.
Every car has a high waistline. It's like,
yeah, but like even higher than normal. It feels like
it's like all
maybe
those...
it's just got like short windows, dude. But it's real tall. But it is still a car, not a crossover. So I fuck with that.
Ooh, look at that. Ooh.
But it is getting kind of into the crossover range. It's like a crossover with a trunk instead of a hatch.
This has a hatch though.
Oh no, it's just a crossover.
I don't think it is. I mean, crossover's really like the body style. It's like a tall hatch. Whereas this is just like...
This is a tall sedan.
It's not really that tall. I don't think the body's that tall.
It looks pretty tall to me. I don't know.
Alright, let me get a good side picture. I'm just seeing if there are any better pictures down here. And it's loading them very lame.
It is pretty low.
It's like low. I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. That's a pretty high waistline. But like, cars are fucking massive nowadays. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I mean...
Look at that gold. I like that. The gold Brembos.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty attractive car overall.
I like it.
It's not bad.
I like it.
Fully electric, all-wheel drive, 1 billion horsepower, I'm assuming.
Yeah, actually I don't see anything about power. It's probably like too much and too fast, and I mean that's like every EV. I mean I have that a little bit later in the program. But I suppose we could segue to that one if we wanted to, and then segue to the other one from there.
Yeah, I mean, we can always skip around. It's not a requirement.
Well, I mean, we can go
in any certain
by
order.
how it relates.
I mean, we might as well get all the EV talk out of the way up front.
Yeah.
And then
I think this
if you don't want to hear EV talk again. This Polestar is cool. This is possibly my favorite EV.
Oof, looks good in white. All right, so to jump from this EV to another EV that people might enjoy, is that BMW apparently is going to have a 1,000 horsepower electric M5, and that there would be a 750 horsepower hybrid variant. And to that, I say, at this point, I don't like not trust horsepower numbers that I hear in rumors. Like, even if it doesn't come out that it has that much horsepower, like, it very well could, though.
Yeah, it'll be like, oh, it only has 962 horsepower. There's some shit like that, you know?
But, like, it doesn't even matter, because it's, like, it's not even out of the realm of possibility anymore. Like, with turbo technology, cars are already making, like, 600, almost 700 horsepower that 10, 15, 20 years ago would have been making, like, 300 or something.
Yeah, I mean, and electric motors opens up like a whole new range of ludicrousness. Because, like, dude, if you have 1,000 horsepower electric BMW M5, that thing is gonna have so much torque that it's gonna just fucking probably rip the subframe out, no matter how beefy it is.
Maybe. I'm sure it, like, the thing is with electric motors.
I mean, that should have like 3,000 pound-feet of torque, probably.
Well, the thing is with electric motors is you do get so much better control of the power. Just because it's way easier to electrically control it, even if you fucking floor the thing. So, I wouldn't be too worried about that.
That was obviously an exaggeration, but, like,
no,
you know
it
what I mean?
really has a lot.
Electric motors have stupid torque.
Oh yeah, no, it's probably pretty nutty. And this is like a speculation piece. There's not really much in this article at all. But, like, I mean, the fact that I don't even doubt that this could happen is, like, ridiculous to me. Because it's like basically any company could just drop a car with damn near 1,000 horsepower in a sub 3 second 0 to 60. Like, pretty much any company. Not even, like, sports ones.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, dude, like, 1,000 horsepower used to be, like, dragsters only. Like, you know, super serious race cars only. It wasn't even until 10 years ago, really, when, like...
street cars got that.
Yeah, like, street cars could get 1,000 horsepower. And now, like, yeah, factory cars are going to be having 1,000 horsepower, dude. It's fucking insane.
Like all of these electrics you hear, they're just, like, 10 bazillion fucking horsepower. Like, the fucking... how about all the electric pickup trucks that they're talking about? It's like, those things are going to be rocket ships, and there's going to be fucking gigantic heavy pickup trucks. And they're going to be so fast.
7,000-pound freight trains flying down the road at 110 miles an hour, dude.
Like,
it's not going to be safe to drive the S12 anymore.
Like, even, like, the base model ones, they're going to do, like, 5 seconds to 60 or something. That's, like, that's fast, people. I mean, people can totally get used to it. But, like, that's fucking fast,
I don't know.
guys.
Because, dude, bro, like, I see a lot of Hellcats in horrific accidents.
Yeah.
Horrific accidents.
I mean, that they show up on, like...
I'm not going to accuse a Hellcat of handling well, but they handle better than a truck.
I mean, the Hellcats, yeah, you're right. They show up on Copart a lot because they're crashed a lot.
I mean, dude, there was a dealer... I used to work at a car dealership that I'm not gonna name because I don't need to, but we had a Hellcat there that I drove, like, I would drive them around to, like, move them, and dude, they're so fast.
Oh yeah.
And the dude that it got sold to fucking wrapped it around a telephone pole and died. Like,
Jesus. No, I mean, I think that is a thing, is, like, with how little, like, the average person, like, really cares about cars and driving, like...
I think it's kind of dangerous to be selling the general public 1,000 horsepower cars.
I mean, let's actually talk. So, I've recently, just because of racing and you know, driving around the, you know, weeks before prepping for it and stuff, I've done a good amount of highway driving. And I'm sure everyone has noticed that because of Corona, like... the highways have been a bit less sparse. Maybe now they've been picking up, but they've been less sparse, and people have been going faster, let's say. Like, normally I will cruise at, like, 80, which is, like, faster than almost everyone goes on the highway, and I can just, you know, go about my way, pull over, be fine, blah, blah, blah. and it's just getting like fucking crazy with how many people are just going so fucking fast nowadays. And it's always like a minivan or a Hyundai Elantra, or like it's never a Corvette. It's never like a Mustang. Like
it is sometimes those things.
It's sometimes those things, but like the ones that always stand out to me, maybe that's why, because it's the ones that always stand out to me, is it's like I'm cruising on cruise control, going
like
80.
A 2003 Chevy Cavalier flies by you at like 95 miles an hour with fucking loose ball joints.
They're going like 95, like just cruising on a main highway where the speed limit's 65. Like, you know, there's I generally won't go faster than 20 over because I don't fucking want criminal speeding, because that's baloney. But these guys are going like 90, 95, just don't give a fuck. And it's like almost always like a truck, a minivan, or like a Hyundai, or like something, like things you know that people either don't give a shit about or don't upkeep it, or like just like there's no way they're good at driving. And then you give them 1,000 horsepower in the same fucking handling vehicle doing that. I mean, it's a rough sell there for me.
I mean, I hate to be like saying that. I hate to be like Ralph Nader in this bitch, like unsafe at any speed, but like it's as someone who drives small unsafe cars, dude, the idea of 1,000-pound Hummer or 1,000 horsepower Hummer that weighs like 7,000 pounds barreling towards me on the interstate while I'm in my fucking S12 sounds fucking terrifying.
Well, I mean, how about this? Like, I can barely ever get on the highway without somebody in front of me getting on it like 45. You know? And
yeah.
And it's like, all right, you know, I guess if you have 1,000 horsepower, that's not that big of a deal. But like, it just makes, it really does make lower powered, smaller cars just more and more dangerous by like the year. But that's also just because people are buying bigger, heavier cars because they're trying to see over bigger, heavier cars. You know, it's like a cyclical event that kind of feeds back on itself. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough. Like, nobody realistically needs more than like, I mean,
400 horsepower.
400 horsepower is
the street,
a lot.
honestly.
400 horsepower is
a lot.
That's a lot of horsepower. I mean, like, we're talking people who don't care about driving, which is a vast majority of people who drive. Like, let's be realistic.
No, but I mean, even for car guys on the street, nobody needs more than like 400 horsepower at all.
Well, yeah, you're right. But I'm just talking about for anyone, like, you know, for daily driving, like.
Oh, like 150.
Yeah, 150. Like
maybe
200.
Like 300 if you have a heavy duty truck.
But even then, like, that's just like because you want it to be faster. It doesn't need to be faster. It's not dangerously slow if it's 200 horsepower. It's like, you know, that.
Yeah, but it would put a lot of stress on an engine to have like a big truck for towing like big loads.
I mean, it depends if it's made for it and geared for it and whatever. Like, there are more.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Regardless, though, like for a car, like 200 horsepower is like a lot. Like 6 seconds to 60, like that's pretty fucking quick.
Pretty fucking quick,
you know. And
jinx on that one, by the way.
Oh no, I only have a Dr. Pepper right now. I don't have a Coke for you. And
go ahead, keep talking.
But yeah, no, people are just gonna have, you know, instead of buying a, you know, the Camry that used to have a 201 horsepower V6, like it makes over 300 horsepower on the newest V6, and the base model makes over more than the old V6 made, and it doesn't matter because they're gonna buy a 700 horsepower EV anyway. Like that's where we're gonna go, and they're just fucking nutty, dude. Like it's a weird future where 1,000 horsepower car is like, yeah, I guess you're right, it's an electric. It's weird, man. It's super weird. But I will jump from this one to the next one, which is following.
Also BMW related.
It is BMW, and it's that out of everything ever, finally we're gonna get. This is a concept, right? Yeah, this is like an old one, but we're finally going to get a BMW M3 Touring. Oof, look at that.
That's an E46.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that's like an E46 or something.
Is this like an article from 2007?
No, this is a Top Gear article from the 12th of August, and it's the 15th of August.
Okay.
BMW.
It's just the top pictures confused me.
Oh, I know. They were just showing it because like they've always had the concepts. Like here, I'll click this article. Like all the different prototypes that they made back in the day. That like.
Oh yeah, they have like an M3 truck at the BMW factory and shit.
Yeah, here.
Yeah, dude. Oh, that shit's fucking cool, bro.
Yeah.
That shit is cool as fuck, dude.
I think they
Factory
did an M.
Mullet-mobile.
They did an M compact. Like they had all these concepts that they didn't end up making, but now we're finally getting a real BMW M3 Touring. What did I say? BMW confirmed.
Not in America, I bet.
Oh, dude. Fucking no way is the U.S. gonna get it at all, man. Like
That sucks, dude, because M3 Touring is so fucking cool. Like, this might be the coolest car of the next decade, honestly.
It's gonna be cool.
Fucking M3 station wagon. I don't even like BMW. 500
horsepower, 3-liter turbo, rear-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, because they do that now.
Jesus.
I mean, it's gonna be a fucking wagon. It's gonna be a BMW estate with their good suspension and good brakes and good engine and good transmission. Like, it's gonna be nutty. I've always wanted like an E39 estate with an M5 swap, but it's like, you know, that's so much fucking money. But it would be fucking sick. It would be nasty, because I mean, come on,
dude,
man.
who doesn't love a wagon with a shitload of horsepower and good handling characteristics?
I
think
think
the coolest car.
I think like even
That is the coolest.
Even going back to like when, you know, muscle cars were like a new thing, or when they were a popular original thing, like the coolest ones to me from back then, or way back in the day in the hot rodding days, were always the wagons. Like a big wagon with a big fucking powerful engine, just like making smoke and crazy noises. Like it doesn't even really have to be fast. Like it's so cool as it is. And it will still be fast because it's a BMW. It's still going to have a 50-50 weight distribution.
I miss my station wagon now. Fuck.
Dude, you could get a Honda Fit, which is better than a station wagon.
I could, dude, but the wagons.
Dude, if only
dude,
they
like
made...
E30 Touring is so sick.
Oh, those are beautiful cars. I love them so much. In the muscle car
like
era,
I said, I don't even like BMWs, but like all of the touring models are just so cool.
No, Kitty's right. They weren't cool. You're correct, and it is totally cyclical. And you know, I'm wondering if like, you know, in like 20 years, like sedans are probably going to be looked at the same way that we look at wagons now, where there won't really be sedans, and people will be like, oh, I really love sedans and how they look, and oh, you know, remember and they're gonna point out like, you know, the good ones like the E39 and the CTSV and, you know, shit like that. Which, granted, those are really good cars, so I don't blame people for liking them.
Dude, I mean, speaking of wagons though, and CTSVs.
CTSV
How
wagon,
good
yeah.
was the CTSV wagon?
I mean, the CTSV wagon.
One of the best cars of the 2000s.
Let's get a quick little.
All right, this is wagon appreciation hour now.
Oh,
right?
Oh, look at that. Oh,
like it's so good looking.
All right, wait, hold on.
and it's so fast.
I'm gonna raise you
Like
this. Was this bring a trailer? How much did this sell for? 57
probably like
750.
I thought it would be a lot more than that, to be honest, because they're so rare. They only did them for like 1 year because no one bought them.
Now, how about
Dude, I mean, look at that 6-speed LS. That's just got some big ass brakes on it. Like, that's so cool.
how about the Porsche Panamera Sport Turismo, the wagon? I think it makes the Panamera. I don't know why you would buy a non-wagon Panamera if you were buying a Panamera. I mean, fucking look at this.
Can you get that? Can you get that in the U.S.?
I think so.
No shit. I don't think I've ever seen one of those.
I mean, I don't really
Bro,
see Panameras that often, to be fair.
that looks so good.
Right? And it's a fucking sexy wagon, and everyone wants to tell you that you can't own them. All right, everyone, name all of the wagons that you can buy in the U.S. right now.
I don't think there are any.
Well, I'm pretty sure that the Golf Sport Wagon has been discontinued in the U.S., which was like one of the few that I could think of. You can't get a Subaru wagon, an Impreza wagon. You can't get that anymore. The Outback is a
Can you get a
crossover.
legacy wagon?
I don't think so, no. I think the Legacy only comes in a sedan. Or it comes Outback, in which case it's a crossover. So it wouldn't even be a wagon. Honda doesn't sell one. Toyota doesn't sell one. Ford doesn't sell cars. GM doesn't sell cars. Can you get BMW wagons right now?
I don't think so.
Can you get a Mercedes wagon? I do see E350 wagons.
Possible.
I do see those pretty often. So Mercedes might be it.
Audi, you can get Audi wagons. Audi wagons.
Okay, so you can still get Audis and probably Mercedes. Chrysler used to have the Magnum. Nah, they haven't had that in a while.
Gone a long time ago.
Yeah,
Long time
you can
ago.
still get an E-Class. Okay. Thank you, William.
That's pretty
Chauncey.
dope. That's pretty dope.
So it's Mercedes and Audi. We got two brands. That's it. You can't even get a Model S wagon.
Can you get a Volvo?
Oh, like a V60 or something? But
Yeah, I think there might be a Volvo wagon.
but is that more of a
Jamie, pull that shit up.
is that more of a hatchback?
I don't know. I'd have to see a picture.
All right,
We
we're
can make
gonna
the change.
look up. We're gonna go to Volvo Cars USA, and we're gonna check out their models. All right.
Bro, if Volvo doesn't have a wagon, that's how you know it's over.
X is crossover, right? S90, that's not a crossover. SUVs and sedans are the two things that they have as choices. No, but they have a V60, and it says crossover / wagon.
Let's check.
But
Let's check it out.
But there's no X in it. Do they do that just because we're American and dumb?
Maybe. Look at that. That does look pretty wet. That's a wagon.
It's right here. Enjoy the dynamic Scandinavian plug-in hybrid wagon. This is a wagon. They definitely just say
That's a wagon.
They definitely just fucking threw crossover in there. I don't think this says crossover anywhere. It says wagon everywhere that it calls it something. Ooh.
I think that's because anyone that's gonna click on it knows what they're clicking on.
Well, I mean, I think that's the same thing with like the. All right, so we got three brands. This is a wagon. It's 100% a wagon.
That's a wagon. Is there someone saying there's a Passat All-Track?
Can you still get
Is
that?
still around?
I don't think you can even. I don't actually think the U.S. got a Passat All-Track. V60.
This is from our Australian homie Kitty. So
I don't think the U.S. got one, but I'm pretty sure that they. If you can probably still find new Volkswagen wagons, but I don't think they're making them for the U.S. market anymore. That's what I'm talking about. Like you can still find 2020s of certain things, but like I don't think they're making. I mean, they're not making Golfs and Jettas anymore. Or no, they are making Jettas. Are they still making Jettas? I don't remember.
Yeah, bro. What would 20 single girls in their 20s drive if they didn't make Jettas
Well,
anymore? They're making them
a
a three
Tiguan.
two expensive.
They make him buy a Tiguan. Yeah, I don't think you can.
They're gonna keep driving Nissan Altimas or what?
No, the Volvo. Panamera Sport Turismo, yeah. Jag XF wagon.
Oh yeah, do they sell that in America?
Dude, I've never fucking seen one of those.
There's no way they sell that in America.
Okay, I got what you're saying, Kitty. Yeah, I mean, like the Mustang whatever the fucking electric one is. I can't even remember what it's called anymore.
The Mach-E, but that
Mach-E.
shit's an SUV.
Well, they call it an SUV, but it has a lower ride height than a Camry. How are you an SUV?
But the roof's too tall.
Is it body on frame?
We fight about this every.
Is it body on frame?
It's a crossover. Don't argue. That thing's too big to be a wagon. It's too big.
I mean, I'm
not having this argument again.
I mean, I think wagon might be more correct.
We always have this argument.
All right. I'm gonna back off
All right,
here.
everyone, get at us on Twitter. Is the Mach-E a crossover or is it a wagon?
Here, I'll calm your soul. Will this calm you? There we go. Much better, right? Is that better, bud? Better now? Oh, that looks fucking sick, though.
Yes.
That looks fucking tight,
dude,
though.
See, that's a wagon. That's a wagon.
Yeah.
Mach-E is not a wagon. Dude, 510 wagons are one of the all-time best wagons.
Oh, God. It barely even... I mean, it looks more like a coupe than anything. This whole coupe roofline thing is fucking me. It ruined me. It's ruined me. I can't stand it.
I mean, that's not a wagon.
It's not even a hat. I don't even... It's like a fat coupe with 4 doors. I mean, that's really what it is.
It's a cross coupe.
Yeah, I mean, that's... With a 4-door cross coupe is what I'd call it. And, ugly and about to sell a bajillion fucking...
Ugly as...
I hate them. They're going to sell them, but million of them.
I know. Everybody and their fucking mom's gonna
You
buy
guys
one.
are going to see...
Every fucking army dude that comes back from his 10-month deployment to his wife's baby is gonna buy one of those with his hazard pay.
Dude, you're going to see... It's going to be these and Hummers. You're going to see so many of them for like a year, 2 years, like where it's going to be like the American flex symbol is like, oh, you have a Mach-E, oh, you got a Hummer. Like, you know, that's what people are going to remember and talk about. They're going to be fucking everywhere. I think they're ugly. I don't care about the Mustang name thing like some other people do. I really don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'm not a butthurt about that.
I thought the new Bronco would be. Oh, the new Bronco. That's a good point. I remember I read an article that they already have like 130-something thousand pre-orders. It's been like 5 days.
Yeah, I think you could pre-order them for like $500 or something. Though.
Yeah, and I know pre-orders and whatever. Like we had the Tesla, whatever, like the Model 3 pre-orders, and then like 60% of them canceled and some shit. Like, I don't really like the new Bronco. I don't think it looks that great personally, but that's just because
I'm not super into it.
The reason I don't like it is because I more prefer the like second and third. I don't like the original Bronco. Like the first Bronco, it looks like the first Bronco, to which I say, great job, good design work. But like when I think of a Bronco, I don't think of the first one. I think of like the 80s and 90s ones. Or no, did they even make them into the 90s? No, I don't think they did.
I don't know. How devastated do you think Jeep is going to be by the new Bronco though, for real?
I don't know. I don't know how many people are going to be like, yeah, I would have bought a Wrangler, but instead I'm going to buy a Bronco. I think that's like the real question, because people who buy Wranglers fucking love and fucking want Wranglers. Like, I know random people who they're like, oh yeah, you know, I owned a Wrangler. like 2 cars ago or whatever, and they own something sensible now, and they're like, yeah, I'm totally gonna like buy another one day. Like I just love driving, and it's like they don't off road, they don't fucking do shit, they don't even go to like the beach or anything. Like they literally just they like it. I don't know, something about it is endearing to people. I mean, that's why they're so popular. You know, really, like,
Yeah.
if you can't love something's flaws, like, do you really even love it? So, like, to that, like, I mean, that's why people really love Wranglers, because they got a lot of fucking flaws. Yeah, I think it'll probably cut in a bit, but it'll probably, yeah, I think William's more right. I think it'll probably cut more into the 4Runner market than the Wrangler market. I don't think can you get a ragtop Bronco, or are they all hardtop? I guess it would depend on that.
I think they're all hardtop.
If they're all hardtop, then I think the Wrangler is relatively safe, because it does have like that aspect to it. But
yeah,
fuck if I know. I don't know that market too well. What were we gonna say? Oh yeah, we were gonna we were talking about fucking, you know, EVs and whatever, and those are things, and then how there are no more wagons are dead.
Talk about wagons.
Wagons are dead. No one likes wagons. Everything's a crossover. And then I said that in 20 years we're going to be looking at sedans in a similar way to how we look at wagons now. And it's Toyota ain't gonna fucking give up. They're gonna just keep selling sedans in the U.S. And honestly, genius, because
good move.
Well, I mean,
some people still want sedans. People want sedans for their teenage daughters and shit. And if Toyota's the only people making them, then they're gonna sell a fucking billion Camrys.
I mean, it helps that they sell, like, you know, the better sedans in the industry. But like, you know, Ford and Buick doesn't have any. You know, Nissan's poop. Who's buying those? I mean, pretty much everything's just crossovers. Every brand, you know, like Honda, they're kind of, you know, like, yeah, there are the new Civics.
They still got the Civic,
but like, they're barely selling these Accords, and these are like good cars. And they're just not
Dude,
selling.
I know, Accords are so fast now.
Yeah, they got the 2.0 turbo. Like, the interiors are really fucking nice. Like, they're good cars, but no one's buying them. They're buying CRVs instead. And, I mean...
Wild.
I mean, we can probably look it up, you know. Honda Accord sales by year. I wouldn't be surprised if the CRV is almost like 10 times more at this point. I wouldn't be surprised. All right, here's by year. Like, look at these. 2005, they sold well over 300,000 of them, Accords. And then in 2020, granted this is a down year, but so far they've sold 100,000. The year before they couldn't break 300,000. The year before that they couldn't break 300,000. It's definitely trending down. And then we'll go with Honda CRV sales. And I just remember, like, the last time I was at the Volkswagen dealership talking to the guy, and he was like, yeah, you know, the Tiguan's their best-selling vehicle. And I was like, wow, I don't even really, like, think about the Tiguan, but that's, like, their best-selling vehicle. Yeah, look, they already sold over 50,000 more CRVs this year alone. And the CRV gets better profit margin. So, like...
Yeah, dude. It's over for sedans.
Like, as a company, like, you would kind of be dumb to focus on sedans in the same way as they have, I guess I should say. Because, like, you literally make more money and more people want these crossovers. Even like, the fake ones. I mean, they got rid of the Honda Fit, which is like one of the best cars in its segment that they're not going to have in the U.S. anymore, because we have the HRV, which is like, who fucking wants an HRV? Like, it's a tiny little fake crossover that, like, it's like, oh, you know, maybe you'll get, you know, all-wheel drive, which, like, all right, that's a cool aspect to crossovers that I'll give them, is that they do have all-wheel drive far more often as an option. But it's always, like, front-wheel drive based, really basic all-wheel drive, and at what gain? I mean, like, some of the times these fucking cars are like smaller inside of them than the car version they're based off of. Like, they'd make them look all rugged and put them up on stilts, but then like the body like dimensions make the interior stupid for no reason. Like, ugh. Just get ready for your overlords.
Know, but it's how it's going. It's the way it is.
Dude,
it always comes back to this around the hour mark. Every podcast is just bitching about EVs and crossovers.
But like, I hate to kind of bring it up when we don't need to, but like, that is where the industry is going.
Yeah, that's all. Everything leads back to it, dude. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But
minivans are dead too.
Continue to report on it.
Yeah, who buys minivans anymore? And minivans are arguably way better than SUVs for almost like every purchaser who bought an SUV.
Yeah.
A Honda Accord, like, you can fit way more shit in a Honda Accord than you can like an SUV of a similar size. Like, the floor is so flat, they're so easy to load, the hatches are fucking massive, tons of interior height, sliding doors makes shit a breeze to put into it. Like, they're so convenient and so good, but there's that huge negative stigma of it, and then, you know, the companies just don't focus on it. No one buys them. They're not making really good minivans as a result. I mean, where's the, like, you know, oh, this is a 2.0 turbo all-wheel drive, 250 horsepower, 8-speed automatic minivan. Like, we're not seeing that. We're seeing a lot of that for crossovers, though.
Yep. I'm not really gonna miss minivans, though. I can live with that one.
No, I mean, I guess I could live without, but I've always. I guess as a car enthusiast, I've always been of the mindset that if non-car enthusiasts would drive something like as economically feasible for them as possible, and I don't mean that as like just the cheapest car, but like a car that will impact, you know, the world as little as possible for their needs, then it allows us idiots to have gas guzzling dumb monster trucks and shit like that. But reality is that people don't do that. They don't want to do that. It's their money. It's their choice to not do that. And like, all of these crossovers and bullshit are really efficient anyway, so no one cares.
Nobody cares.
No one cares. The world's smallest, most silent violin plays for us right now. But yeah, so if you care and you want a sedan, go buy yourself a nice Toyota, and I'm sure you're gonna love it, because I've loved like every Toyota.
It's probably faster than whatever you drive right now.
Yeah. Oh, also they're getting an all-wheel drive too, like, now, right? I think you can get all-wheel drive 4 cylinders, which, like, you know, that, sure, you can't get it with the V6, kind of sucks, but, like, you know, that's still awesome that you can even get these all-wheel drive options. Go for it, guys. Go buy yourself an all-wheel drive Camry and report back to us on how you did your part. So we're about an hour and 10 minutes into this, so I think let's finish this off with some more exciting stuff than blah blah crossovers ruining our lives. We'll hop to some racing shit, because there's some racing stuff going on. I know this was
racing's been popping right now.
Racing's been popping. I know this one. I just grabbed this, or no, you sent me this one. So this was just random choice. I understand. Where are they racing? They're racing this weekend, correct?
This weekend they're racing in Barcelona.
Yes.
They did
qualifying
last weekend in Britain and the weekend before in Britain as well, both at Silverstone. And dude, those 2 races were pretty fucking exciting. Like, I mean, look at that headline, dude. Lewis Hamilton wins at Silverstone despite tire puncture on final lap. Like, what the fuck? And so, dude, so Silverstone's like really hard on tires, right? Because it's a high-speed track with some long sweeping turns. and it was really hot, and the compounds were pretty soft. So people were blowing through tires pretty fast. And Verstappen was like running third the whole race, but like the Mercedes were clearly faster. And the Mercedes were way out ahead of him in the last few laps. And he was way out ahead of whoever was in fourth, I don't remember. So Bottas had a blowout on the third to last lap. His tire exploded. And that moved Max up to second. And he had such a big lead that he pitted to get fast lap on a fresh set of tires for the last lap. But then, coming around like the third or fourth to last turn, Hamilton has a blowout. And Max is now like 20 seconds further behind. So he's flying as fast as he can on these soft tires that are like brand new. And Hamilton limped across the line on fucking 3 tires because Red Bull pitted to get the fastest lap. And if they hadn't pitted, they totally would have won.
Oof.
But then the next weekend, they had even softer tires, and the Mercedes were just running through them. And so, I mean, the race, there was still some good on-track racing the whole time. And if you can find a replay on the internet, you guys should watch it. But Verstappen ended up pulling out the W, which was nice because Mercedes has been dominating this whole season, which is kind of fucking boring. But even saying that, there has been some exciting on-track racing for every race. And I think I've watched every race this season, which is fucking crazy. I haven't watched every race in a season after 6 races, like, ever. At least not in the last, like, 5 or 6 years.
I think it's been really hard for me with just how OP Mercedes is. Like, it's
kind of boring.
It's kind of boring in that regard. But yeah, there have been good races for sure.
People taking a fight to Mercedes a little bit, and the fight for third is actually really exciting because the racing points are fast, and the Renaults are fast-ish.
And the Ferraris don't give a fuck.
Dude, the Ferraris are dog shit, bro. Ferrari is so bad this year, and Vettel in particular. Leclerc's actually been doing pretty good, all things considered, but Vettel's been doing fucking shitty.
But, like, it doesn't matter because...
Dude, at the last race, he was bitching at his team on the radio about how they, like, fucked up the strats and shit, but, like, they really didn't do anything wrong. Like, some shit outside of their control happened. And he spun in the middle of the race and then, like, bitched about them about fucking up the strats after that. It's like, bro.
Yeah, he's, like, tilted at that point. But, like, Ferrari has also clearly just given the fuck up. Like, it seems to me like they went into this season knowing they weren't going to try. Because they were banking on the 2021 regs, which are now 2022 regs. So it means we're going to have this season, half of last season, this season, and next season, a Ferrari just completely phoning it in. They're not going to try at all. Like, it doesn't matter if Charles Leclerc is fast or tries, because I don't think it's going to fucking matter, because the car is going to be shit and they're not going to care. He's not going to get good strategy. They're not going to get good anything. I mean, they're just not trying. Because Mercedes is so OP. Like, they already know that they lost. Like, they could try and still lose. Like, that's what they did. That's what they did the years before that. They were, fighting Mercedes probably the best out of this entire formula. I mean, like, Red Bull had a good couple years, but was it 2017?
Verstappen's doing incredibly well this season. Like, he's been in the mix pretty hard.
Yeah, but what is it? Like, 2017, I think, was when Ferrari did
he's
well.
Outperforming his car right now, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ferrari's really been struggling, dude.
Oh.
They've been on a downward trend for a while.
Oh, God, don't tell.
Really, ever since 2010, they've been on a downward trend.
That's what I was saying is, like, yeah, I might have exploded the engine in our car, but it was like 1 out of 7 races. Like, that's better than Ferrari having a meltdown.
True.
Like, man, it's just... Fuck. I'm a tifosi, man. It's rough. It's rough out here for a tifosi.
Yeah, I feel bad for you. Honestly, dude, I don't really have any real allegiances to any teams or drivers. I kind of lean probably towards Max Verstappen at this point. I like Daniel Ricciardo, but I've never really cared for Renault.
I mean, I
Um,
like the red car. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, you're part of the problem, dude. You're what gives Ferrari the power to just like get money and throw it away
Hey,
on
hey,
terrible
hey.
strategies.
Ferrari deserves their historical team bonus, all right? You and I both know that it is completely fair and not bullshit at all that Ferrari gets a historical bonus.
I think Williams and McLaren get one too.
Yeah, but it's not as big, I don't think.
No, it's not nearly as big, and clearly it's not doing anything for Williams.
No, but Ferrari deserves it. You know it's fact. Uh,
No, I, I strongly disagree.
so jumping from F1,
Also, it's clearly not doing Ferrari any good either.
we're gonna jump from F1 to some other open wheel racing, and I don't know if any of you guys and gals know this, but the 23rd, this upcoming Sunday, not tomorrow, but a week from, is the Indianapolis 500. If you've never watched the Indy 500 and you think that you don't like ovals or whatever, I'm going to suggest you watch it because winning the 500 is such a prestigious thing in the racing world that everyone's going 110%, like the whole race. And it's really, I think it's something a lot more special than just any other oval race or, oh, they only turn left or whatever. Like, you will get into
Yeah,
it.
no, the 500 is pretty exciting, and it's like a weird oval track too. It's like
Well, it's not an
pretty
oval.
flat banking.
It's not an oval for
Yeah,
one thing. Yeah,
exactly.
pretty flat banking. Fucking 200. What is it said? He did a lap. They did a lap of 232 miles an hour the other day.
Yeah, I mean, it's bonkers, bro. And they're going wheel to fucking wheel. And it's always, I mean, if nothing else, watch the last 10 laps because they're always fucking crazy.
Dude,
Nobody ever gets a huge lead like in road racing.
dude, Alonso's here. Like, fucking, look at this. Look at this. Look what.
Bro, I think Alonso could win it. I don't know. Like, the first year he did it, he was in the mix.
Yeah, I don't think he has a good team, though. Who's he running for right now?
I don't know.
Ruoff,
I thought
Arrow,
he was with
McLaren.
Andretti.
And they're running a Chevy engine. They're not even running a Honda engine. Oh, God.
I think the Chevys are fast, though.
I think they are. But, I mean, look, top 5 was Hondas. Then you got an Ed Carpenter car. I mean, it was Andretti kicking ass, Chip Ganassi being Chip Ganassi, and then Ed Carpenter is always a good team. But dude, fucking look at that shit right here though. Look who squeezed on into the Fast 9. Motherfucking Takuma Sato, bitches.
Hey, that's my boy.
That's my fucking
Indy
boy.
500 winner.
Indy 500 legend.
Ringer.
Fuck yeah. So
Where's my boy Rossi at?
Rossi's
America's
third, right here.
Most recent field F1 hope.
right here,
Where's he
third.
at?
Right there.
Third. All right.
I think I'm rooting for Rossi myself. But
I mean, Rossi and Sato. It's hilarious that I watch Formula One, but I am more attached to two IndyCar drivers than I am any Formula One drivers.
I like a lot of the IndyCar drivers personally. I think they just have. I think you're almost allowed to have more personality because the racing is so much closer than F1. I'm just gonna say it. The racing's so much fucking closer than F1. Like,
Bro, I mean, IndyCar really might be giving Formula One a run for its money if it keeps doing what it's doing. And we'll see how the new formula is in 2022. But
yeah,
if it's not good, then Formula One might start losing fans real
I
bad.
mean, I think I've kind of thought it for a while, and I'm not gonna like blame anything. Like I guess I would just blame the current formula in Formula One and the fact that Mercedes nailed it so well. Like, I'm fully admitted.
Yeah,
I'm
but I mean,
butthurt because
even
they're so
beyond
good.
that, just like the super high downforce nature of the cars makes it hard to have close
Oh,
racing.
totally, totally. But I've thought for a few years now that IndyCar has had better racing than F1. Like last year, IndyCar raced at COTA, Circuit of the Americas, which is one of my favorite tracks. It's a super exciting track, and it's a great Formula One track, too. And I can't remember last year's F1 race there, but the IndyCar race there was fucking nutty. Because, like, I forget what corner it was, but they just decided that there were no track limits on a certain corner. So every driver is just going so fucking wide at that corner, all four off track. But there's no track limit, so it was completely legal. And it's like, that's kind of shit that you just would never see in F1. And then the racing is so much closer. And there's just, you hear so many of these stories about like random small teams, you know, plucking their way through to get a win, or random small time racers plucking away to get a random win out of nowhere. Like, I just feel like on average, a race is more enjoyable. Like, maybe the craziest crazy F1 races with tons of iconic moments and you know, in a crazy season, like, yeah, more people are going to talk about that than they'll probably ever talk about IndyCar in general, because it's just so much
But even
smaller.
then, like Formula One's, we weren't really around for it, but from my understanding, in like the 80s and 90s, kart was starting to run up on F1 as far as popularity, and they were doing a lot more international races, and like they were pretty close to, or they were getting close to Formula One's popularity, and then the whole IndyCar split happened, and it went downhill from there. But if they keep doing what they're doing, and the racing's more exciting, and they maybe start expanding international, I could see them starting to make a little bit of a run at Formula One
I
for popularity.
I mean, I think it would be awesome if they did some international tracks. Fucking go to Canada or something. Go to Toronto. Uh, Imagine these running in Mexico with like fucking thin as hell air, and these cars already go in a straight line. These things will go faster than an F1 car usually. They just
But
have
also,
they have
at
less
the same
drag.
time, I think part of what makes IndyCar kind of cool is that it's small enough that they can run smaller tracks that don't have as high of capacity.
Yeah, there is that, and they
I
do
mean,
do a
like
lot of.
Formula One can never run in places like PIR or like some of the small streets tracks that IndyCar races at.
Yeah, I mean, you have that. Like, F1 cars are a modern F1 car is so much faster than an Indy car, and you know it's not really a mystery as to why. You can look at their specifications and what is formulaed and what isn't when you compare the two series. But like, I don't really think that matters a lot, because like you have to have tracks that are super well suited to the cars, and I think IndyCar has a lot more tracks that allow for a lot more good racing with the formula that they have. Whereas F1, like, Monaco is a fantastic track, but like for racing, there's very little to no passing.
I bet IndyCar would be a lot more fun at kart than Formula One is, or at Monaco.
Have you watched Formula
More.
E at Monaco? And they run a weird like half Monaco circuit. That's more exciting.
No, I don't think I've seen it.
Like that's exciting. Like the racing's actually close and people actually pass and shit like that. And it's a combination of F1 cars are just like they're just made in such a way that it's very hard to fight with them wheel to wheel for lap after lap, and especially on tight circuits. Like that's why you have all these the Tilke tracks where they have these super wide straights and whatever. And well, the reality is that that's how F1 cars can pass each other, is with that shit, is big wide
Yeah,
long
it's
straights.
it's true.
It is true. And so yeah, I would suggest anyone who's never watched a 500, I really do, from the bottom of my heart, suggest that you watch this. I think you'll enjoy it. It really goes by a lot faster than you think it will. You know, just have some buddy to talk to and you know, a bunch of snacks and whatever, and you'll have a blast. Like, you just kind of start picking up the different strategies, and then like the first set of pit stops start coming in, and there's all the speculation of how that's gonna impact later in the race and stuff like that. It is really a ton of fun, and I think that even if you don't know much of anything about racing, that you can kind of in your head, at least towards the end of it, get to the point where you're playing like, I guess it, like, the football term would be armchair coach or armchair QB, but in this case you're like armchair pit chief, and you're just like, oh no,
yeah,
you gotta pit now, you gotta change, it's just a splash of gas, you don't need a full fill, let's go, come on, let's do it. Like, you just get so into it on like things you didn't think you would give a shit about at all. It's fun.
Indy 500 is very exciting.
Yeah, I mean,
I like
what I've said is like, because it's such a prestigious award to have, to be an Indy 500 winner, you literally are in history forever. Like, your name will be uttered for hundreds of years to come, probably. I mean, it will.
I don't know. There's a lot of Indy 500 winners whose names don't get talked about anymore.
I mean, but like, even still, like, someone's gonna look at the list. Someone's gonna read your name. Someone's gonna look into it and do a little bit of research. Like, every year, like, somebody's going to remember your existence. Somebody, for hundreds of years after your death, and like, that's fucking crazy. And a lot of these racers, and that's why Alonso's here. I mean, let's not forget about that. That's pretty much the only reason he's doing this, is because he's trying to get that triple crown.
True.
And you know, it solidifies you in history. It really does. And that's why I think the racing is just so awesome, because not only are the teams trying their hardest to push their drivers, but the drivers are pushing themselves to go as fast as fucking possible. Like, it's everybody going 110%. Nobody half-asses this race. Nobody takes it easy. Nobody is like just trying to get to the next race. Like, you're putting 100% into this fucking thing, and that's why it's so cool to me.
Shout out Indy 500, man. That was beautiful.
Shout out Indy 500. Go watch the Indy 500. Go buy an all-wheel drive inline four-cylinder Toyota Camry. Throw it on some BC racing.
Or buy a 1,000 horsepower BMW M5.
Throw it on some BC racing coilovers, and you know, I think you're just set for life at that point. But that's all I had. That was every story I had. I kind of waxed romantically about the Indy 500, but I do think it is a little bit of a romantic race. I mean, how many races can be romanticized to that level and meet the expectations? Like, the Monaco Grand Prix is hugely romanticized, but I feel like the average race is just so whatever. You know,
Monaco's really exciting if there's rain.
Le Mans, there's that, and yeah, tons of fantastic, great racing has happened there, but also,
it can be a slog to watch.
But being endurance racing, being a 24-hour race, like, you know, usually you know who's winning hours beforehand. So like, it's not the same way as
sometimes there's miraculous mechanical failures.
When was it?
And that keeps it interesting.
Yeah, no, obviously. But like, when was it that Fernando rode last? Was that 2017? Was that the year Sato won? I can't even remember now. I think it was.
I don't know.
Whatever, but like,
the years are a blur.
But like, that race, like the top 10 at the last like 20, 25 laps, like any one of them could have won it. And it was like just so fucking exciting from then to the end. Whereas like the last 20 laps of Monaco, like, you also probably know who won, and like, it's a way shorter race. So yeah, a little bit of apples to oranges, but again, watch it, bitches. But we're fucking out. We're out of topics. We're done. I don't know if you had anything that you failed to talk about.
No, I mean that about covers it. No Coast Drift Party 10. Gonna be sick.
Oh yeah, you're doing No Coast.
No Coast.
That's gonna be fucking rad, man.
We got a Twitter now. Tweet at us. We're at Podcast Oil.
Yeah, I got it in the
Talk
left there.
shit. Respond to any topics you heard. You got hot takes. We want to hear them. Yeah.
Yeah, tell us everything. Just talk to us about your day. We'll probably reply. We're bored enough most of the time. So, everyone, thank you so much. Colin, thank you for joining me for another hour and a half of automotive stupidity. EVs, crossovers, and BC racing coils. You got any last words?
Keep yourself sideways.
Keep yourself sideways. And yeah, so everyone, thank you so much for coming. We had a blast. Talked about some good shit here. And we'll hope to see you again in about 2 weeks. So thank you so much for watching. Have a good one, everyone. And Colin,
Bye.
an extra take care to you, my bud.
Be safe, everybody.
See you guys.